Good morning, Al Ingalls here on a Sunday with some Sunday thoughts for you. I came out to this mother-father tree, this tree of wisdom that's seen 300 years, and I'm not alone. There aren't any other people that I can see, but I've heard cranes, I've heard all kinds of different birds. There's some crickets even sounding, so just sounds of nature as I'm rinsing my brain. So brain rinse is a term that I learned from one of my favorite authors, and I put it into my own novel too, this idea of taking yourself out for a quiet moment to rinse your brain. So I'm rinsing my brain with this magnificent tree. I don't even know if I could ever get it to scale for you. Maybe you've seen me touch it before, but I mean, I have to hold the camera way back like this, and this tree is amazing. So brain rinsing, I listened to a fellow, Dr. John Demartini, quite a bit, and he talks about changing your questions to quality questions. When we ask our brain a question, it's just gonna search and search for answers. And a lot of times we ask questions that take us into a more negative direction or burrow us down deeper instead of creating enlightenment and creating us moving forward. And so here's an example. A question that you might ask yourself is like, well, why am I so stupid here? Why don't I get this? Why don't I get this? Your brain is going to search for all the reasons why you can't get it. But if you start to ask a question like, how can I call it empowering questions. How can I learn more here? How can I listen deeply? How can I come to understand someone that's different than I am? How can I be open here? So this idea of changing up that question from a question that's going to mire you into a darker place to one that's going to bring you more solution. The other thing that I've learned, and to be honest, I've really only learned this lesson significantly in the past 5 years, thanks to a friend of mine named Molly. And Molly was coaching one day, and she said, before I start my session, I want you to take off that idea that you're a know-it-all. And that struck a real solid chord with me. And I've come to really deeply reflect on it, especially if we're in fight or flight. This is my first time in her course with her. So I had a little bit of anxiety, like just a little bit of social anxiety, maybe meeting new people. I didn't know any of these people on the call with us. And so there's a little bit of social anxiety. When we feel that, it's really easy to want to protect ourselves by feeling like we already know a lot. And so in order to open up, it's really great to be in beginner's mind, to be in a student's mindset, to admit that we don't know everything. We certainly don't. We each have our own experience. So when you can just sit back for a moment and say, I'm open to learning. In fact, I was doing some affirmations this morning, preparing affirmations in my pressure-free planner for those who are on my planner. And one of them was this idea of I am open and willing to learn. I am open and willing to gain understanding. So I hope that's helpful. These were my thoughts today with everything happening in our world and everything that's happened in 2020. So this idea of having a brain rinse, really just taking a couple moments to, think about like panning for gold. When you pan for gold, you're filtering. So what's getting caught in the filter? Let's catch some golden nuggets in that filter and then start transforming that into questions that empower you towards solution. How can I? What can I? And if it's a we, what can we? How can we? So that's how I help people gain better quality questions for themselves so that you don't get caught in the why questions, the questions of, why can't I figure this out? Why am I so stupid? Those ones that pull us down into places that aren't particularly helpful, because your brain is an amazing machine. You are truly a genius, And when you unleash the right questions, your brain is going to want to search for those answers. I see Trevor, Cheryl, Dale, thanks so much for coming on with me today. It's nice to see you here. And I really wish you a beautiful pressure-free day. Maybe on this Sunday, just take a few moments just for a little brain rinse. And for me, it's always, you can't see it anymore, I go out to my favorite tree. So this is fun. There's no one out here. It's a very quiet place today. I thought there would be a lot more people out here today, but I'm the only one on the trail. So with that, I'll wish you a beautiful pressure-free Sunday. And I'm gonna have some guests on this week for those of you who tune in to my show. Some really cool friends of mine from all over the country who I'm inviting on to have interesting conversations and share. So with that, I wish you a great pressure-free day. Bye.